What's up, Trader's Edge? Today, we're going to talk about the reaction to non-farm payrolls in the S&P 500 and the triple Qs. We're going to look at post-earnings now in Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Google, and Tesla. We're going to talk about how I'm playing that. We're going to look at my levers, and we'll talk about what I'm seeing next week. So with that, let's dig in. All right, folks, all the big earnings are out of the way. Tesla, Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, even Exxon and Chevron, they're all done. Now, post these earnings, I want to show you what is going to happen to these. And we're going to pull up Google as an example because I want you to see it. Here's earnings. This red line represents option prices. Here's where they were at earnings. Here's where they are now, and here's when they're heading to, where they're heading to. When they get down here, options are not going to get any cheaper. They're just going to start getting more expensive. I'm going to be doing a post-earnings play on names like Google and Apple and Amazon when the options get sufficiently oversold. Post-earnings, there's almost always universally an overreaction to oversell options. I'm going to scoop in and take advantage. If you'd like to join this special situation, click this link. All right, now let's talk about SPX. Non-farm payrolls, pretty darn positive on Friday. The market liked it. It was able to swallow the Apple earnings and ignore the Amazon earnings to look at the macro. Really liked the move. We've now swallowed up the entirety of the Liberation Day sell-off. And we're now back to where we were on April 2nd. Pretty significant move. Took us a month, but we got back to there. Now the question is, what's next? I'll get to that in a second. So with that positive earnings, we did see weakness in the bond market. This is fine as long as bonds don't get a lot cheaper than where they are right now. So look at TLT. That starts to break 87. We're going to start running into some problems with the market again. VIX, different story. Absolutely smashed on Friday. And VIX futures term structure is starting to tell me it's time to want to sell volatility. How do I do that? I can use VIX. I can use VXX, UVIX, UVXY. But this VIX curve is now very flat. And VIX actually got below the curve for periods of time. So we're now in a spot where volatility could really fall off a cliff here in the coming days if things continue to calm down and markets continue to be strong. You know, Q's actually had a pretty strong day, which is great when you consider what had happened, right? Apple earnings, not good. Hit as low as 202. I think Apple is eventually going to get down below 200. The Amazon earnings, last night it was down a lot, ended up being mostly flat. I want to get on my soapbox here on earnings, though, and why I don't play them. So going on Thursday, I sold to close Amazon July 200 calls at $9. I bought them for about $5.80 a couple weeks back. Now, I firmly like Amazon to be above 200 by July. But why did I sell them on Thursday? Because of earnings. That vol crush I showed you at the top of the show is a big deal. Amazon, at its peak on Friday, was up almost $3. The high for the 200 call was $8.60. With Amazon flat, that July 200 call down to $7.30. So I can come in on Monday or Tuesday after volatility has really subsided and then decide post-earnings, do I want to own that July call? And I'm going to be able to buy it cheaper than what I sold it for only a few days ago. That's why we trade into earnings and after earnings, but not through earnings. That professionals don't take coin flips. All right, now, Third lever, IWM. IWM had a banner day on Friday. It was by far the leading index. That bodes well. IWM still has a lot of ground to make. I like the market higher next week. How am I playing it higher? TNA, this is the triple bull IWM ETF. I'm going to be looking, stock closed 27.68. I'm going to look at the 28 calls. I own some for about 95 cents. I think those are worth owning next week and will likely make you some money. All right, everybody. So for next week, my lovers have all said calm down. I do like the market to continue higher. We might get a hiccup on Monday, maybe open a little bit lower, but that's going to be a buying opportunity. All right, folks.